Hi, I'm with Jay Bardon, who is appearing in the upcoming thriller Iniquitous. So, Jay, I'd like to talk a little bit about you to begin with. How old are you?
I'm 46 years young, Brenton.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Auckland, New Zealand.
And where did you do your training?
I've done my training in Australia. I did a short course in NIDA. I've studied method acting at the Melbourne Actors Lab for a year. And this year I've been studying at Howard Fine Acting School in North Melbourne.
And how did you get your start in the acting industry?
Through Star Now. It's an absolute godsend. It's quite hard to obviously break into mainstream, so Star Now has given me the ability to perform in student films and independent films.
Let's talk about your character, Dean Rankin. Tell me a little bit about him. Who is he?
Poor old Dean. Yeah, I think Dean is a very complex character. I wouldn't call him a loser, but he's had a hard life. He's got an estranged daughter, an ex that won't let him see her, and he's a bit down and out in his luck, and he's also very sick.
Tell me a little bit about Dean's background, his backstory, how he grew up.
Dean had a very hard life growing up. That was part of myself weaving a little bit of backstory for the character. Just middle class to lower class, never really got opportunities. He's always sort of stumbled through life. Never really made much of himself. And as I say, he's not a well man at all, and he hasn't been well for a little while.
A lot of the characters in Iniquitous are searching for something. What's your character searching for?
Ultimately, a reconnection with his daughter. He hasn't seen her for 18 years. He tried very hard at the start after he broke up with his wife, and got blocked at every turn. So he's actually got a very good reason for wanting to find his daughter as quickly as possible.
Now, does Dean have any strong personality traits or characteristics?
Unfortunately, I think desperation has probably led him to be, I would say, very impulsive, acting impulsively. Deep down, he's not a bad guy, but certain situations and certain people are really affecting his ability to make completely rational decisions.
And what similarities are there between you and Dean?
I've actually been thinking long and hard about this one. The only thing that's really similar between Dean and myself is the age. Our lives do not have any parallels at all. In fact, it's probably completely flipped upside down, and that's probably been the greatest challenge of all in taking on the role.
Let's talk about the audition process in preparing your character. How did you prepare for your audition?
I think what you've really got to do is look at the audition piece that you're given for a start, because I think there are always clues in the little scripting that you've been given to portray the role. And then I think it's really up to you to develop a lot of the character based on your interpretation. And I think in any role you can't go too far as to make complete assumptions that they're going to be this way or that way. I think you've really got to try and treat it as organically as possible. If everyone has the same assumption, then every single person's going to give the same performance in the audition. I think the people that get roles are the ones that tend to find something in themselves and they can get that across, something a little more unique.
Now, there were a lot of people auditioning for your role, weren't there? So what advice can you give for somebody who is heading into an audition?
Preparation, full stop. The worst thing you can do, and I think I probably did this when I started out in the industry, was not giving enough time to the piece that you're working on for the audition and not really putting a lot of thought into it. You can't just go in there thinking that memorising the lines and saying them with a bit of emotional intelligence is going to get the job done. You really, really, really have to do your homework.
And you talk about preparation. What sort of preparation do you do for a role? What preparation have you done so far for your character in Iniquitous? I know that you've lost weight for this role because Dean is sick. He's suffering cancer. So, what other preparation have you done?
The weight loss is absolutely one facet, but I think the majority of preparation goes into the script, it goes into interpreting the script, and then it goes into trying to create as much of a backstory as you can based on the facts you've given. I know a lot of people work tirelessly on backstories and can write pages and pages of things that may have happened in the character's childhood and this and that, but I think what you've really got to do is you've got to look for clues in the script, and that's a starting point. It would be stupid of me to go, well, you know, when Dean was a young child, he was bullied or beaten up by certain kids. If that's not feeding into anything in the script, then that is a waste of my time. So I've concentrated on things like potential relationships with women in his past and how that may affect decisions that he makes in the movie.
What messages or lessons do you feel the audience will pick up from the film, from your character's point of view?
Look, I honestly think that people from the audience will see a lot of themselves in not just my character, but I think all the characters. They're just everyday people going about their lives, and probably, hopefully, get a bit of understanding how badly manipulation and manipulative people can affect people's lives in such a grand way. It's on a big scale as well. And I think we've all been touched by it. I don't think there'll be anyone out there who hasn't been manipulated at some stage, and unfortunately it's not just the special few that it happens to. It happens to people from all walks of life.
Is there a favourite scene in the script that you're really looking forward to filming?
There's actually two scenes that have completely different, probably emotional input attached to them. One is a scene which is a lot of grief and a lot of pain and mental anguish, and there's another scene that involves a lot of physicality, which I think is going to be fantastic. So
the first scene you talk about there, that's a scene that we have, or that we've sort of used slightly in the teaser trailer. Yes,
absolutely, yes. Yeah, and I think that scene just develops into even more than what you see in the teaser. Yeah.
If you could play any character besides the one you're playing, which character would it be and why?
Well, I've always been drawn to the antagonist roles. So there's an antagonist in this film that I would love to have a crack at if I wasn't playing Dean, only for the simple fact that there's a nice versus nasty dynamic going on, which I think is going to be a great challenge for whoever takes it on.
And one last question. We've got several stunts in this film, and you're doing your own stunts, aren't you?
Yep, no, I definitely am. So that's gonna be good, and I know that we're really lucky. We're working with a guy by the name of Chris Cochran, who's also going to play a part in the film, I believe, who has extensive experience with martial arts and stunt work. So I'm really looking forward to. We've already had a couple of sessions, but I'm really looking forward to working with Chris going.
I think we drive the car into you a couple of times, and yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much, James. It's going to be great working with you.
No worries, Brenton. It is going to be fantastic working with you. I can't wait.